Hello and welcome to the first ever The Bald Corner Rant and Review Show. It's a small little part of the Three is Too Many community here that we're going to put out a little bit of content under the guise of watch or things I'm interested in. I think other bald, angry white guys might be interested in. One of the things that I've really been looking forward to for this week is Tim Pool was traveling to LA to go on Joe Rogan. So two of my favorite people were going to be on a podcast together. And, you know, he's on there once a year. I was really looking forward to it. And then a couple days ago, Joe Rogan with Duncan Trussell on starts shooting off with fake news. Joe Rogan is fucking tripping about the whole Trump told people to drink bleach thing. He didn't do no research. He played the little CNN clip and then he just rolled with it. He said, yeah, Trump told them to drink the bleach. Shit, fuck. They're probably doing it. And he was joking, you know. Now here's the thing. Joe Rogan is the first person that will tell you he's an idiot. He's a moron. Don't listen to him for advice. And if you're listening to him, you should probably be drinking bleach. But that being said, come on. He also blasts fake news all the time and makes fun of those guys. So it's like, you know, do you hold you up to your usual standards of calling people on their bullshit, of not doing any research whatsoever? Or, you know, whatever, I'm joking, I was having a shitty day. Whatever. He does it on Duncan Trussell's podcast. He does it on his podcast with Duncan Trussell on there. Okay, whatever. Doesn't say nothing. Tim Pool is on the road. So the Amazing Lucas, Salty Cracker, all those dudes knocked that story out of the park. They debunked that story in one afternoon. He never told anybody to inject any shit. The scientist right before him had just said that all those things were working. He said he asked the question, do you think that we can do any of those things? Whatever. The only thing he did wrong was he came back out a couple days later and tried to say, oh, I was being sarcastic. When really he should have just said, hey, I was just asking that fucking dude what the hell he was talking about. That being said, it doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. Tim Pool, if he would have not been driving across the story, would have done that video of how that was fake news. So this is what's crazy. So he goes over there, he does Joe Rogan. I'm waiting now because I'm thinking Tim hasn't done a video on this. He hasn't called this out. Joe has said it the day before with Duncan Trussell. I'm like, surely Tim's seen the podcast and he's going to say something to Joe about this. And Joe gets into it. He gets into the whole thing about, hey, did you see this? And he plays the little CNN clip completely out of context and says, isn't it crazy he would say that stuff? Why would he say that? That's the most craziest nonsense. And Tim's like, yeah, that's crazy. Holy shit. He just let Joe get away with it completely. He just fucking blew right by it. Okay. So then Joe goes a little bit more, and then Jamie starts pulling up the studies, and Joe's like, hey, oh, what's that you got there? And he goes, oh, it's a study where they were using hydrogen peroxide to clean people's lungs. And, come on, hydrogen peroxide, disinfectant, inside the people, it's actually cleaning the fucking lungs. It's like literally the exact same question that Trump asked the scientist. Can we do something like that? And the answer is, they're already fucking doing it. They're already fucking doing it. And Joe Rogan knows that because Jamie showed him the study for it. And he goes, oh, okay, cool. Then Jamie shows him the study where they're using strong UV light to kill shit through the skin in the body. Joe Rogan said, oh, okay, that's cool. Literally the exact same thing that Trump asked, could they fucking do? That people are saying, that's crazy, that's stupid. They're already fucking doing it. He's behind on the times. He should have known they're already doing these things. The people who are informing him are behind what Jamie can find on Google. They're informing the president, who's informing the rest of us, and they're behind Jamie on the Joe Rogan show. There we go. Tim Pool don't say shit. Alright, anyway, enough about that. That was just one thing. It really ground my gears about that Tim didn't call him out. I know that's his one time he's on there. It's the biggest thing he's doing all year. He gets to promote his show, you know, to millions of people. It's a great audience. I'm happy for him. And, you know, and I can't blame him for not. And Joe's his friend, and he, you know, he doesn't want to, point out that Joe's, you fucking believe in the fake news. Tim did immediately leave there, though, and today posted several videos about exactly that story is all completely fake news. And in those exact videos, he mentions that he was on the Joe Rogan show, but does not mention that Joe mentioned it and that he didn't say shit at the moment when Joe was on there spewing the fake news that he's blasting in his videos today, which is kind of funny if you look at it. I understand, but it's still kind of funny. And they're both known for calling people out on, not calling people out on fake news, and both of them are not calling it out. Tim's calling it out, but not against Joe. It's pretty good. Anyway, and they went to start talking about aliens, which is always a cool thing. There's been a lot of sightings lately, which is trippy. There's all these Air Force pilots and stuff that are confirming sightings now, and the government's, their best defense right now is, we don't know what it is, and that's all we can tell you. That's fucking nuts. They're not admitting to anything yet, but they're running out of things to tell you. Weather balloons and gas pockets and experimental flights and stuff. How long are people going to keep buying that? It's kind of... Yeah. So they get into talking about aliens, which is also something that Joe just talked about with Duncan Trussell, because Joe has recently watched the movie Contact, and almost like it was the first time he had seen it, he's back in love with the movie. And so he's basing his entire alien theories now on alien, existence on the movie Contact. Because he's in love with it. And Jodie Foster does play a hell of a role in that movie. And it is a trip. So he's going back and forth, and Tim's like, they wouldn't share with us, even if there were aliens out there. Why would they share anything with us? And Joe, of course, is like, of course they would share with us, just like in Contact. They would totally share with us. And then Tim's like, yeah, but Bob Lazar, though. And then Joe's like, oh, yeah, man, I forgot. He already admitted that he believes aliens exist. If you believe Bob Lazar's story, then there's been aliens here for a long time, and they have not shared their technology with us. So he was stuck in the middle of, do I believe they would either share, like in Contact, or, oh yeah, I believe Bob Lazar, I believe aliens are already here and they're not sharing the technology with us. So he was stuck between his two favorite theories on the subject lately, which led me to the thought, Tim was talking about, what if they are already here and they're implanting ideas in our head, and that's how come we're developing new technology. And they are experimenting, like Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. They both had different ideas for how to do electricity at almost the exact same time. What are the chances that two geniuses are going to think about a weird, out-of-the-world concept and figure it out almost at the exact same time? Two completely different ways, two different kinds of current. I think two different aliens gave two different ideas, and they were betting on which guy would get there first. I mean, Edison won. Barely. He got the better. Which brings me back to one of my most prevalent alien theories, and that for sure Elon Musk is a fucking alien. For sure that dude's here developing some shit for later on. For sure he's an alien. That's all there is to it. But anyway, so Tim goes on and he starts talking about, man, they've been domesticating us. All this programming from television and all this stuff. They're just domesticating us for the takeover. And then they ramble about some other things, and Joe gets lost in the story. And then a few minutes later, about 5 minutes later, Tim comes back with, yeah, Hawkins is wrong, man. They wouldn't even want to take us over. They're not coming for us. They're not taking us over. Joe, who I don't know how high he is or if he's really stoned at this point or not. I know Tim's sober. He sees that Tim just said that they've been domesticating us forever, and now immediately said Stephen Hawking is wrong. They don't want to take us over and domesticate us. And Joe goes, really? He goes, hey, you smoke weed? Tim's like, no. And he goes, You should. It was a fucking best joke of the whole show. He caught him. He was just drifted off. He was just thinking out loud, and he was like, "Yeah, but what if it was this thing?" And then 5 minutes later, he's like, "Yeah, but what if it was this thing?" And it's the exact opposite. But that's how thoughts go. Fools think about different shit, and then you get called out on it. Oh, you're a hypocrite. Everybody's a fucking hypocrite. Calling out fake news. Guess what? Probably I'll be believing some later on this afternoon. I'm sure. Then Tim goes on to almost exactly, tell my theory of how humans ended up on Earth. That we're the stranded remains of aliens who crashed here, or that we came here from Mars as a last-ditch effort to get off of our dying planet, and we came here, and as generations went on, we lost our technology, and now we're slowly coming back around. His theory was that we were going to go to Mars and leave this dying world behind, and then we were going to forget everything here. I'm already ahead of that. I already believe Mars is the old world. I think when Elon Musk gets there, he's going to find some old shit up there, old technology from before we came here the first time. But he's also an alien, so he already knows that. That shit's up there, and I think that's why he's building the ship. To get back up to the old tech when we had the technology to go far away. Maybe I'm crazy. Probably crazy. But it was pretty nice to get some vindication that someone else is thinking just as wacky as shit as me, and Tim Pool was sober when he did it. I am usually very intoxicated at parties when I tell this theory of how we are stranded alien children, and I get laughed at and ridiculed. He did it in front of millions of people, stone cold sober. So there's that. So, that was kind of cool. Tim and Joe both call out the Chris Cuomo dude for being a fake quarantine case. He got caught on the beach up north at a rental house with his wife and kids. And then a couple days later, they staged this big emergence from his basement saying, "I've been in here for weeks," and hugging his kids and his wife like he hasn't seen him for weeks. He just got caught. He got caught. There's a police report. A biker fucking filed a police report against him. He's out there harassing people. He was not only not quarantined, he was out in public on the beach harassing people. They call it out for it. Then Joe turns around and immediately, kind of low-key, defends Chris Cuomo and like, "Yeah, but he did test positive, though." Did he really, Joe? Did he really? Because you just caught him red fucking handed lying about being in fucking quarantine. The whole thing was a setup. The whole thing was a hoax, Joe. It was a fucking comedy skit from the beginning. CNN isn't news. It's fucking Saturday Night Live every night on television. They're just doing skits and sketches. It's not even real news anymore. They're making it up. They're producing their own content with their people or actors. They're not broadcasters. They're not journalists. They're fucking comedy actors. So anyway, Joe turns around. He's still thinking that the test was legit. The whole thing was a scam, but you still think the test was legit. That was the legit part? No, Joe, he lied about the fucking test. He lied about the whole thing. It wasn't like he got it and then they came up with the theory. The network went to him and said, "This is what you're going to do." Then he made a video crying about how much he fucking hated his job because they were making him be a fucking douchebag. That's how it is. And then, about towards the end, Joe catches Tim trying to spin him a little propaganda, trying to say that the reason there's less conservatives on social media is because conservatives live so far out in the sticks that we're still using dial-up. And Joe's like, "Dial-up? They're doing it for their phone. Nobody's using dial-up anymore. People have Twitter on their phones. Nobody's getting on a computer on AOL." And Tim's like, "Oh, yeah, you're probably right." The argument to be had is conservatives have more active jobs where they don't have time to be on there and do 25 tweets a day because they're doing construction or they're delivery drivers or they're farmers or they're doing whatever. They're not sitting in an office on their ass all day at a desk playing solitaire on the computer and then getting on Twitter bitching about shit that has nothing to do with it. That's what it is. Those kind of people have a lot of time. That's why they have a heavier presence, even though it's a very, very small percentage of the population. Their voice is loud because they ain't doing shit anyway, so they got a lot of time to make noise. That's what you meant to say. Not, it's because conservatives are on dial-up still. And then once again, with like 10 minutes left, Joe comes in with the Trump and told him to inject Lysol and drink bleach. Fucking propaganda again. And again, Tim lets it slide. Doesn't say nothing against it. Nothing at all. Again today, he's on there with 2 videos screaming about how that's completely 100% fake news. Didn't happen. Bullshit. Whatever. He's on there doing it. But he didn't say it to Joe's face when he had the opportunity. That's all. I was kind of disappointed about that on both of them. Other than that, it was a pretty good show. It was very entertaining. It was 3 hours. I'm breaking all that down in like 15 minutes, and most of it's just me talking about shit that didn't have anything to do with that. So there's obviously a ton of really good content that I left out of there. Those are just the things that I wanted to rant and bitch about that I had an issue with. Out of a 3-hour long episode, there was like 4 or 5 things I had a problem with, and there was a couple really good entertaining things. My take from the whole thing is this pandemic needs to get over because Joe's friends are all scared, and for some reason, even when they're shut in this pandemic, none of them bothered to call him and say, hey man, that's fake news, quit saying that on your podcast. You know, but what can we do? And I was really happy with Tim getting that much exposure and getting shown in a really good light. I wish he would have stood up over the fake news, obviously, but whatever. Well, good. It's good. We'll see what happens next. We'll see what the next episode brings. Now that he's made those videos, I wonder if Joe's going to see his videos calling that all fake news, and if he's going to backpedal on it, or if he's going to double down and go again, or if he's just going to let it slide. I don't know. We'll see you next time. When something pisses me off, we'll try to keep these pretty regular on the Bald Corner. Rants and Reviews.